What's going on, family? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Corey.
And I'm Keisha.
And we are His and Herbs, and we're just some small time, soon to be big time gardeners growing food in the high deserts of Southern California. So today, guys, it's a nice day outside, but it's a bit windy, which means it's a bit chilly. So, but we got things to do. What me and Keisha are gonna do today is we're going to work on irrigation for Watermelon Mountain, for Melon Mountain. Okay. I guess technically it's Melon and Potato Mountain. The plan is to run irrigation from this tank to all of these containers. These grow bags right here, they're not going to be there anymore. We're going to take those out. Those are going to move. All the grow bags from up here are going to be gone. And we're going to have nothing but containers up here. So far, that's the plan. Also, almost forgot. Also, we're going to go from that tank to this patch here, which has pumpkins, onions, and some other stuff that Keisha's throwing in there. She has a sunflower room that she's trying to make over here, that she's making over here. So it's going to run from the tank to that bush right there. That is a Concord grape, so it's going to cover that. It's going to cover the sugarcane here, this patch right here, which is going to be like a pumpkin patch slash a sunflower room, and it's going to stop at that white bucket. Let's go ahead and get started on this irrigation. Did this 2 days ago. I really just laid it out just to make sure I had enough holes at the time, because I was supposed to do this video a couple of days ago, but I didn't have enough holes, enough tubing. So, but I've already started setting everything up, as you can see. So in here, we have our submersible pump, right? Let's see if I can get this out for y'all. Take a gander. So I have my submersible pump in here. It's a small submersible pump. I think this is like 350, 380 gallons per minute. And the tank already has water in it. So all I'm gonna do, or all I did rather, was I had to put the pump in the tank to make sure that I had enough hose length to do what I wanted to do. And from there, I took, once the hose is on, I put a T right here so that obviously it can run that way, and I can have a main line that way, and then I can have a main line going this way as well, right? And I got a spare T just in case. So that's our starting point right here. We have the submersible pump in the tank. The tank has a little bit of water in it, comes up, tees off, and goes in both directions. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and start knocking this out. The things that you're gonna need for this. Now keep in mind, I'm running this according to our needs up here on this hill. You have to look at your garden and figure out what it is that you need, so that you can figure out what's the best way for you to run the irrigation in your garden. All right. So, but if you haven't already done so, maybe this will give you an idea on how to do it. So the things you're gonna need a punch. This punch is what's gonna put the hole in the main line. All right. So you need a punch. You're gonna need, well, you don't need these, but those are optional. You will need these, which are 1/4-inch barb connectors. So this is gonna connect your 1/4-inch tubing to your main line. Okay. You're gonna also need some emitters. I have a bag of emitters here. Got these off of Amazon for like $7 for 100. That was like the best deal ever as far as that's concerned. And then lastly, the thing that I said is optional. These are just some stakes to hold the tubing in place, because I got the emitters. Normally these emitters, you can get them either with or without the stake. I got them without the stake because it was more cost effective, and I got more bang for my dollar. Right? So because I did that, I don't have any stakes, but these stakes, it's like the difference in price of the emitters with the stakes and without is pretty significant depending on where you go. So I chose to get them without, and then if I chose to get the stakes later on, then that's what I was going to do. Now I am going to get the stakes because, like I said, the wind up here is pretty rough sometimes, and it'll blow. I don't want it to blow the tubing out of the container, because this is gonna, even though it's in a tank, it's gonna be in a tank up here. It's gonna be set up. If I have it my way and I can find the right timer, this is all gonna be set up with a timer, so I won't even have to come out here and water. It's gonna all be automated. All right. So now, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take our 1/4 inch tubing, right? We're gonna take our 1/4 inch tubing. I'm gonna measure from the inside of the planter where I want the emitter to sit, from there down to the hose, down to the main line, right? So it's going to be about that long. Give myself a little bit more for some slack, just in case. So that'll be good, right? So all I have to do now is cut this tubing right there. Boom. So that's one. Okay. I'm gonna take my 1/4 inch connector. This is what it looks like. Hopefully you guys can see it. I'm gonna take that and put it in one side of the tubing. All you have to do is push it in. Now, this stuff is a little bit challenging sometimes, depending on people. You know, I know some people may have hand problems and stuff like that, arthritis, difficulty gripping things, right? So this could be a little bit of a challenge for you. If this is too hard for you to push on, one thing that you can do is you can get you a blow dryer or some kind of heat gun, some kind of heat source, right? And you can heat up the end of your tubing, and that'll make that softer. Then whatever you're trying to put in your tubing is going to slide in a little bit easier. Or you could take a pot of boiling hot water, dip the end of the tubing in there for a few seconds, let that soften and become pliable, and then you can do the same thing, right? So you don't have to sit there and fight with trying to put these things on in that moment, right? Now I'm going to go ahead and put my emitter in the other end. Emitter in the other end. So take my emitter, stick that. Hoping y'all can see this. Stick that in there, push that in there. Once again, it can be a bit of a challenge, but I just gave you two options that you could use to make sure that your emitter and your barbed hose connector get on your tubing, right? And then that's that. It doesn't have to be all the way flush, but that'll work. That will suffice. So now I'm gonna come in, take my hole punch, and just punch a hole right into the tubing, just like that. Take the other end of my barb connector, stick it down that hole, just like that. Now this I do want to sit flush, as flush as I can get it, because I don't want it to leak. So boom, you heard that snap? It's in there. Now I'm gonna just take my emitter, put it in the container bed, take one of my stakes, put it around the 1/2 inch hole, 1/4 inch tube, and now she's good to go. I'm gonna open up this emitter right here a bit so that it can so that the water can flow. I'm gonna do that same process for every single container that we have. So yeah, it's time to knock it out. I'm getting more flow than I expected, so that's a good thing. So these emitters normally they spray it really wide, which is pretty good. And they do that more so on the rows. Here, because the pump only puts out so much, I don't know how much PSI comes out of the pump. So I'm not expecting the same pattern or flow rate here as we are when we're hooked to the actual wall. But this flow rate right here is pretty solid. See that? And this is the last emitter on the entire hose. So for it to be getting this level of flow, I'm really pleased with that. And this is second to last. That's good. I'm really happy with what I'm seeing right now. Just need to adjust the emitter so that it's not wetting the plant, but wetting the ground around the plant. There we go. This is really good. I can run this now like 10 to 15 minutes, and that'll be enough water. With that flow, that'll be more than enough water to water all of these containers. She said it's dangerous, y'all. Is it? Oh yeah, that's good. That's really good. See, and it's only been on for like what, 2 or 3 minutes, maybe. Yeah, it is already coming from the bottom, and it's and what you guys have to remember about drip irrigation or spot irrigation like this, we're so used to watering with sprinklers that we're used to looking at the entire ground being wet, so that when you do irrigation like this, you're not wetting the entire area. You're just wetting right where the plant can get most of that water. So you have to understand that the plant is getting water, your pot is not dry, and you just have to get used to seeing it like that. Yeah, it's coming out the bottom. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. It was fast. Yes, buddy. It took a while to get it that way. Yeah. Well, just sit up at the top. This soil does have a lot of compaction, so yeah, this, like almost all of them are already draining out the bottom. I like that, because I had to go in and really wet this soil because it didn't have good drainage at first, but I had to go in and wet it and make sure it was soaked all the way through. That way, when I mulched it, I didn't have to worry about drainage, and it looks like it's working. So yeah, y'all, get you guys some drip irrigation. It's gonna save you a lot of trouble, a lot of heartache in the end. This is actually gonna be hooked up, like I said, on a timer. As soon as I find a timer on Amazon that has, I need to be able to program it. I need to be able to program the timer down to the minute. So the other timers, most of these timers that you find, it's in at least an hour increment. Then there's some that just do 2, 4, 6, 8 hours. I need to be able to get the timer, the digital timer coming from the wall, electrical timer, so that I can program this for, like, as you can see, it's already coming out the bottom, maybe 5 or 10 minutes of watering. When it starts to get hot, 10 to 15 minutes of watering. And this mulch is doing a really good job of keeping the moisture in, and I'm super happy about that. I always say I'm a mulch, and I never get around to it. Then when it gets really hot, I'm like, oh, everything's drying out, dying, getting blossoming right. None of that this year. So I appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully you found some value in this video, and we will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.